there's some advanced work on the design for radial flow that we're having to work with. In fact, we're dealing right now with a problem with one of our competitors who has a really poor design right here, and we're trying to demonstrate to the customer why that's a problem. Okay, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit more with these systems, because the radial flow is, we kind of throw it in the category of a vertical flow, but as you guys see, it's because it replaces the vertical flow systems, and the customer thinks of it as a vertical flow because the air comes in the bottom and goes out the top, but it goes through the middle and sideways before it comes out, and it's a horizontal flow through the absorbent medium. Okay, so it's kind of a hybrid, and we're going to start talking about the horizontal flows and those features, and why we have to incorporate some of the features of a horizontal flow in the radial flow.
If I can add one thing with that, if you were to take that cylinder and you were to cut it down and then open it up, the reason why the air can move so fast is because that's got a huge face area of that cylinder, because that's wrapping all the way around. So think about that, if you were to cut and lay it out on the sheet, how much face area that would be. And that's why you get that high velocity.
Yeah. One of the problems that you get into, though, is with the design of a radial flow, you have to be really careful, because remember, the area of the outer circle of the carbon bed versus the area of the inner circle, those are different areas, right? Because it's a different diameter, and if you're using 2 pi r to determine this length and versus this length, they're two different dimensions, or I guess you could just say pi d. They're two different, and so you have to be careful that you don't run into velocity problems on this inner bed here, because if you push the air through too fast on this outer bed, by the time it gets to the inner bed, the area is slowed down so much that we can run into problems. Okay, so just word of warning that this is a fairly sophisticated design that we have to be careful about. And most of the things we've learned is because of errors that we've made in our initial designs with it. I mean, we've got our initial installation of these up in New York. Was done 5 years ago, and I'm going back up there in a few weeks to go fix some issues with that one. Okay. So they're fairly complicated, but we have some units installed here in Atlanta. They've been great units without any problems. Got some other units around. Okay. So this is, you know, we would call this technically a horizontal flow through media, but replaces vertical flow. Okay? So we've got